All right, guys, this is RJ from Save on DIY. Today's project is going to be fixing a headless statue. So I have a couple here where the heads have gotten popped off due to being knocked over. You can see we have a headless Mary and then another statue over there. So the tools you'll need is a drill with a concrete drill bit, grinder potentially, obviously some cement. I use Portland cement, and then iPro, EarPro, and some gloves to mix the cement. So what we'll do first is we'll drill a hole into the base of the statue, and then we'll drill a hole into the head. We'll use a screw as essentially a dowel, and then we'll put the cement in there, let it set on the base with the screw, and then we'll come back and put it onto the to the head. So here's the tools. You got your angle grinder, just a normal cheap one to work, 4-inch on that. Got my concrete drill bit with the drill, my EarPro, iPro, the cement, a container to mix it in, something to stir it with, and then electricity. So as you can see, there's the head, the headless statue is popped off. So we'll take that off, and then I went ahead and just drilled a hole into the base, and then you'll see in the next video drill a hole into the head. All right, so we went ahead and drilled out the head of the statue, did the same thing on the base. Took our screw, put it into the base. You can see on there I marked how the depth of it on the base, and then that's the depth that we needed to go into the head. Now we'll mix up our Portland cement, and we'll put it on there and put the head on and mount it and let it dry and everything and be ready to go. Okay guys, we're out of the shop. We got the head with the hole in it, and we got the base with the hole in it, so they should hopefully match up. And then we'll mount the head on with some cement. We'll get that mixed up. All right, for mixing up the concrete, we only need a little bit in there. We'll go ahead and mix up the water and stir it up, and it just needs to be kind of like a pancake type consistency. And I'll show you the end product here after I mix it up. Okay, you can see the consistency here is going to be a little bit thicker than like pancake batter, but you want it to be able to be a paste that you can mold and move around the statue. Okay, so first we want to get the statue wet. That'll help it bond both on the head and the base. Just a little damp. Okay, we're going to grab our screw. Take your concrete cement mixture, and want to put it in there. Okay. Just hold the camera still on the statue. Don't move it around. Okay. Now we have our dowel, or the screw that's acting like a dowel. Okay, put a little bit in her head. Put it together. Okay, so obviously we want to clean up all this that's leaking. So just kind of smooth it out. Make sure it's nice and smooth around the lines. Now I did paint her white previously, so we'll just have to paint her white when I'm done. But the big thing there is you want it to be nice and smooth. So that way, when it dries, you don't have to do any sanding or anything like that. Kind of smooth out all the lines. Come around the back. Come around the back. Bring the camera around the back. Don't move the camera. Just keep the camera on the statue. Okay, you can see just fill in the crack. All right, and while you're here, might as well just touch up any other imperfections or things that have gotten broken, since I'm gonna have to repaint the statue anyway. We'll go ahead and touch up the little areas that are messed up. Okay, and then as it dries, you can start to form it a little more. So around her neck needs a little more attention. On the side as well, fill in the cracks. And then there's some chips on the back I'll also touch up, but for time's sake, we'll just cut that part out of the video. All right, thanks. All right, now drill the hole into it. Okay, now that the concrete's starting to, the cement's starting to set, it's a little firmer, so it's a little easier to shape. So I'll go back through and I'll touch up along the edges, kind of smooth out. You see there, kind of just smooth it out. Try to follow the natural shape of the mold and the lines in the statue. If it's getting a little dry in your hands, then just get a little bit wet. You can see this part that part right there I was trying to patch. It's harder to patch that because I'm trying to actually create a vertical component of this chipped part. So we'll put a lot more on there. Let it dry, and I'll come back and I'll form it once it's a little firmer. Okay, you can see I'm trying to rebuild the thumb also that broke off. So that's going to be hard to kind of have it extend out. So little by little, I'll have to add some on. Okay, it looks like her veil has a chip mark right there. Can you see that? Her veil. So we'll go ahead and fix that. So we'll get some of the cement, put a good bit on there, and then we'll shape it. We'll let that dry a little bit and then we'll touch it up. Okay, now here's the trick, especially with this head being smaller. We want to make sure it's lined up perfectly. So we're going to have to set it on there exactly how you want, right? And then we need a way to try to mark the head on where to drill. So it looks like this guy is going to be going right about there. So we'll kind of measure twice, cut once type of analogy, and his head's turned a little bit so it's not going to be straight. And then there's also a tilt in the head forward a little bit, so I need to make sure when I drill I'm tilting the head a little bit forward, and it's going to be right about there. So I'm going to mark where to drill, and we'll just keep double triple checking, make sure we get it lined up perfectly. Okay, and then there's also going to be some play in this, so we want to have this a little bit bigger, so then there's play. Okay, I think that's going to work right there. All right, one of the risks with doing such a small head is that you have the chance of it chipping off. So as I was drilling it, this piece right here broke off. So we'll try to keep this so I don't have to refabricate this whole section, but we'll go ahead and put it on the base. See if we can't glue cement this portion onto the head. So if that doesn't work, then we'll go ahead and just fill all that back in with cement. It might be easier just to fill it all in, actually, now that I look at it and talk about it, but we'll see how it works. So, all right, so we're back. We already put some water on here. We got this wet. We have our chipped piece. We're going to go ahead and fill the cement in here, use our screw, and try to mount the head back on. So get a good bit in there. Want to make sure we get it all the way in the hole. That way the screw has something to grab onto. So all right, there we go. I'm just going to abandon this part. I'm just going to fill it in because this is too difficult to mount. Okay, so you can see the gap right here. Can you see? The gap right here. We'll go ahead and fill that in. A lot easier to do than trying to balance the head and mount it and everything else. I think that'll look a lot smoother. So we'll go ahead and touch up this one just like we did the other statue. We'll get the cement set, let it start hardening, keep touching it up as it's setting, smoothing it all out, and we'll get to the finished product. Go ahead and turn it off. Okay, so you can see that a lot of the concrete has kind of worn away and the rock and the stone is exposed. So while I'm touching up and fixing the head, you know, we'll just go ahead and just smooth all this out so it's a nice nice finished touch instead of having kind of the broken concrete rock look. So just take the cement and kind of just basically paint his head with the cement. Make it nice and smooth. Just make sure you check on it while it's drying. Keep smoothing it out as it hardens. Get it nice and smoother. So you playing with the camera? I see you touching stuff and playing with the camera. Go ahead and turn it off. Okay, so there I went through. You can see I patched the back of the neck, the head, some of his back, places where the concrete was just deteriorating. So it's drying right now. And over here, got the Mary statue. She's still drying. And then you can see I completely refabricated the thumb. All right, so we're gonna wait a couple hours, come back and see how it looks. All right, here's the final product. I went and touch it up with paint. So even rebuilt the thumb, and the thumb's not ideal, pretty hard to, but the head and neck. There you go. That's how to fix a statue.